Hi everyone, I'm Mario, and today we're going to be looking at Big D's Guide to Avoiding Arrest, a Hunter the Parenting audio log by Bruva Alphabusa. Now, let's just be honest, we don't expect him to actually avoid arrest in this last. I fully expect that at some point, the reason he's going to get out of jail is because it blows up, because he fucks up so hard other people have to kill all the witnesses, and in the chaos he escapes. Calling it now. If I'm wrong, that'd be fun too, because honestly, I just enjoy everything Alphabusa does, and everyone on his team does, because the writing on this has been really damn good for all of Hunter, and I'm just really glad to see more after the last arc finished, and we just get to see what happens next. What is the aftermath? I may or may not be geeking out a bit. I find this completely justifiable, and I don't regret anything. So you guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up, and let's just jump right into this. Hunter the Parenting. Big D's Guide to Avoiding Arrest. Ooh, it's coming in faster than the last few videos where they had a couple of seconds down.
In case you weren't paying attention, listen close. This is how it all happened.
What all happened? Oh, is he going to recap that last episode?
The Alchemist known to you as Piotr broke out of our cellar and hunted us for sport.
Is he telling this to a cop?
Due to drinking two of his fellow vampires.
Oh, no, they're recapping just flat out.
More potent vitae.
I guess if someone...
From a 12th generation rube to a humongous, thick, sickoid monster of the 10th generation.
Which is still lower than, or I guess higher than...
We spent half of Marcus's weight in gold on. The one that could take a force of 2,000.
The hero, but that's completely different franchise.
Minas, which would be about 825 when that kilograms.
Minas? Okay, I seem to be missing context. Stupendous he became. We managed to break through a slow door. We spent half of Marcus's weight in gold on. The one that could take a force of 2,475 minas. Oh, yeah, and he doesn't translate to kilograms, but what is a minas? I don't think that's English. I'm pretty sure it's not metric, because he then translated to metric. What is a minas? I don't know, and I'm feeling like this right here is a massive clue about him, and it bugs me because I have literally no idea what that would be. I think minas, minotaur, Minotaurus, and then, okay, maybe it's Greek. I don't know anything about Greek systems whatsoever, or historical systems, or Turkish systems. I don't know. That is a lot of lightning outside. Well, it'd be really awkward if I suddenly lose power. Well, whatever. Hopefully you can't hear that, because, oh dear God, that is loud and very close. More importantly, if anyone knows what that is, let me know, because it's going to bug me. It is really going to bug me.
Measurement, and definitely not 18,000 in your American caveman measurement store. Please remember my math lessons.
He taught them math?
Well, anyway.
I'm actually surprised about that one.
Next thing we know,
I mean, I guess chemistry to make explosives would count.
Invisible, and Marcus decides to jump out the window.
How did he become so American, anyways?
Both his legs, and then they're also shot with a gun.
How is he still alive with his family?
Roof. But then I was dragged out the very same window Marcus had opened.
Yeah, they don't do well with windows.
Stony barrow by the house. I was so exhausted by that, I decided to go to sleep. When I came to, I saw Marcus had not dragged me down the road following our secret safe passage. In turn, my son-in-law then expertly tries to lure the vampire.
It failed up until it worked.
But he does not fall for it. And that lands Marcus in especially hot water.
Seriously, how is Marcus even alive with only just a busted face?
Brain did not use his full strength to kill my son.
Yeah, he was going for torture instead.
Trying to kill any one of us, in truth. So he could line us up in a sick, vampiric, all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, that's where he actually didn't kill anyone.
I suspect he may have followed a foolhardy urge to embrace us all and bury us in a mass grave. We may have all been damned this day, had it not been for what happened next.
Boy and door moment of badassery. Also, people have told me about the shovel heading thing right here. Embracing everyone, bury them in a mass grave, and whoever crawls out survives. And everyone else just stays down there. I'm not sure if they die or just starve until they die or go into a torpor and stay there forever. I don't really know what happens. And it's one of those things, I know there's an answer to that. But unlike that previous, what is a Minas question, I don't want the answer to this because I'm pretty sure someone will tell me, and then I will not sleep for a few nights because I just think about that whenever I start drifting off. It's like, well, nope, not sleeping anymore. Yeah. It's like when you find out what an SCP is for the first time. And it's the flesh that hates.
My son Dor's ingenuity struck him in more ways than one, as our front yard had been converted with custom, sensitive, anti-freak minds for a situation much like this one. And with a well-placed shot by my beautiful, wonderful, amazing, and fantastic prodigy of a grandson.
No, honestly, it's completely deserved. Boy lived up to that.
Was swiftly knocked into torpor. Not long
after, let him die to son.
They came to us, and Piotr's sentence was ultimately rendered by sunlight.
That is still disturbing to be blurred out behind the words.
I'm going to gather the leftovers of his conflagration.
Oh.
I'm planning on compressing it into a diamond to show that even the ugly of us can be made magnificent.
On the one hand, yeah, I know that you can actually compress charcoal into diamond. It's just odd. I'm surprised he knows about that. Because that's a very... Okay, actually, never mind. I was going to say it's a very new technique, but honestly, no, I think it's been around since the 50s and not really refined until maybe the 80s and 90s. And frankly, it's pretty common now. Most diamonds are made through an artificial process. Now that I think about it. Weird that he would know about it, though, because that's just... What does a hunter and artificial diamonds have to do together? Unless he's talking about he's just going to hold it in his hand and crush it Superman style, and he thinks he can do that. And or he thinks he can do it hard enough he can. At what point does mental disability become a fledgling mage? Because they don't know they can't do something, so they actually are able to do it because they can think that they do it, so they do it. I don't even know if I'm making a joke about that or not. I really don't.
Perhaps I'll attach it to a ring and give Marcus a spectacular wedding band.
See? Now you get to wear the guy who beat you in the face.
Before that, we were arrested.
Maybe you should give it to Boy instead. Honestly, it's a little less disturbing. I don't talk to cops. He's going to talk to a lot of cop. I just realized what this is. This is literally the exact reverse of his interrogation before with the owner of Smurples. Did I have to mention the cat? No. But Smurples, man. I've seen the art they put up on Twitter. It's an adorable kitty. Also, yeah, he looks weird as a human. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. I really don't. I want to call him Malkador the hero, but again, I know he's the equivalent spiritually of that character, but he ain't, and it's a different franchise. It's in my head. I don't know why.
All right.
Oh, wow, that is aggressively
Good day,
British.
Sir. My name is Detective Sergeant Guy Chapman. I'll be interviewing you today. Are you feeling comfortable? Your jaw situation any better?
This is not just over-the-top British. This is aggressively British and quaint, and I fully expect this guy's going to be some kind of ghoul who's just playing the part to get information from the Camarilla, and then he's going to let them go because there's no way someone is this friendly sounding. With a nice name like Guy Chapman. Yes. I'm just a good old sport, and I'll just let you go on your way so you can cause more trouble. Yes, I really want to kill a Primarch. I'm sorry, that's a completely different character who's definitely not the person I'm now seeing the most resemblance to with this man. I don't know why immediately that's where I'm going, but that's exactly where my mind's going. Frickin' Clancy. And if you don't remember who that is, there should be a lot more swearing involved.
Yes! Yes, a bit.
You know, how about I make us some coffee? I'll be right back.
You do that, detective. You best do that.
Good coffee or cop coffee?
If there's one thing we know for a fact as hunters...
Oh, he's monologuing.
The vampire is everywhere. Society is led blindly by the deeply ingrained wiles of these creatures, and especially that of the most guileful sect, the Camarilla.
Well, that's debatable based on what you said about some of the
every
others.
facet of human life. Industry, government, all forms of organization, our very infrastructure, even family.
Family?
You can never be sure where the ears might be.
Oh yeah,
and
because
so
it's
you
instantly
must
addictive,
always
essentially.
Be primed to plug them.
So they get
Set the scene.
bitten and drained a
I
little.
sit inside the Norfolk Constabulary in the township of Wales next the sea.
I was going to ask if Wales next to the sea was a real place, but every time they bring up a dumb British name, I'm like, that's a joke. I get a bunch of people going, no, that's real. I swear, half of this entire series is me going, is that real? There's no, it's real. Okay, that's a real place. Coxbury, pronounced exactly like that by Kitten multiple times, is a real place. I'd ask who names this folk, but apparently I know the answer. British. Probably English. Maybe Anglo-Saxon. I don't know. It's in northern, so it might be Scottish. Whatever.
I am just about to be interviewed. My
Also, I want to know more about
to see if the
I know people in my
police have
Discord
been compromised by the Camarilla. Do not give anything away that could be seen by them as a masquerade breach, and, of course, not be arrested.
Also, yeah, that part
this will
too.
be harder than you might expect.
Because it does with the bodies and the ash and the landmines.
Right.
Hopefully they didn't find the landmines.
Here you go.
Or the sign for them.
Kevin, was it?
You can call me the great and mighty Kevin if you'd like, or my friend.
Kevin, that's the name I forgot. Why did I forget the name Kevin? It's not like it's the name Keith, where you actively wipe it from your memory. I don't get that. Also, he's really... I thought it was just funny how there's a parallel how he's being interviewed and he's in Kevin's position. He's even using the name Kevin now. The best part is he could probably fill in for Kevin pretty well other than the entire... Actually, no, wait, he taught people math. He taught Door math. I don't know nearly enough about Door to know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe he can pass as an accountant. I was going to make a joke about that, how there's no way in hell, but honestly, if he says he's a seasoned accountant, there's only two ways that goes. You either go dead to the world and move on like that, or you get kinda, well, in such a way to put it, the way Big D's acting sometimes is reflected in real life behaviors. Yeah, it's creepy in real life too.
Oh, man.
Oh, and thank you. I do love my cafe.
It is good stuff.
Great and mighty Kevin. That sounds fantastic. Where'd
People
you
will
get
actually
that
use those.
title?
Oh, it's a long story. From my accounting days, kind of stuck as an in-joke, and it makes me feel pretty great and mighty in the day-to-day. You don't have to use it. It was just a funny little joke.
And that right there is the craziest part, because explaining that away shows that every single bit about him is not insane right now. Which, considering the literal head wound by being dragged out by a vampire and tossed on the ground and passing out, maybe concussed and breaking his jaw, he's thinking ahead, has thought it out, is remembering things from a previous conversation, unless he does believe he's actually Kevin. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't go that his brain got a little scrambled and he forgot who he is and just said his name was Kevin. You know, I was going to say that there's no way that would possibly happen, but this is crazy enough that either he goes full crazy and just temporarily believes it's true, or partially crazy and he forgot that they're actively looking for Kevin to kill him already, and Kevin told him that. Also, sane enough that he pulled out a different name in the backstory and fit it, and when he used the title, which he would have gone around calling himself anyways as Kevin, or Kevin in his persona would have done that, so everyone who saw the name, I've seen him do that, so that he does have a way to laugh it off. So this is what he goes as an alias and then laughs it off because he knows it's silly, giving the story to why he's not actually crazy, which is something most crazy people won't do because they fully believe those titles are legitimate and they don't understand why anyone else would say otherwise. But again, missing the point that Kevin had a hit on him by the other vampires already. He told us that in literally the beginning of the last audio log. Big D forgot that, didn't he? He completely forgot that. And he just signed his own death warrant by saying that. Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I always respect titles, ye great and mighty one. You better believe I'll be using it.
Well, thank you, Detective Sergeant.
Oh, man, we're going to have a time of it today, I'm sure.
Yeah, you definitely are.
But, I must inform you that we're recording this. Camera's up in the corner there. There's also these microphones picking up our voices.
Okay, one, just telling people you're being recorded. I have a sneaking suspicion none of the things he said are true. Also, I love this. Before his face, like, just let's go back a bit. His face was actually in shadow the entire time, wasn't it? But his eyes were more open here, and he looks so much more congenial. But then here, like, just this, when his eyes are half lidded, you can see the pronunciation of the lines underneath them showing the weariness. But his eyes aren't fully open, so you only see this, the top half of the pupils and the iris. even the slant of the eyebrow, the little bit of emphasis right here. This changes the entire facial feature. And then the fact that, just look at this, the smile on him. Here it's convivial, it's a little more open. The lines are a little more relaxed. He has the queeriest eyebrow, small upturned smiles. But here, this is him getting serious. And it's such a small change to the art. But goddamn, it conveys so much emotion that even though the voice is still convivial, it's going through the job, it can show so much. God damn, it's basic, small little just iterations of the initial picture, but it's just masterfully done. It's such a small, minute, tiny change. You can even see where it's slightly blurred where they made the edit, but it changes everything about it and the entire context of the speaking voice. I love this.
So, if you want to speak to us, I'd ask you speak loudly and clearly, so the
you can do one of those.
Can pick you up the best they can. All right?
That should not be an issue.
Also, it gives him an ounce to it. He doesn't want to be heard.
Thank you.
That's an odd thing.
I already knew the camera and the microphone were not working. In preparation for the inevitability of an arrest,
so he thought that too.
I make it a habit of sneaking into the local constabularies around Warham, and I sabotage their equipment. The constabulary is incredibly small, with only a scant few officers working there at any given time, and their interrogation cells are as virgin as their wit. Breaking into a small police station is about the easiest thing you can do.
Why do I have a feeling that they just were there watching him do it the entire time? Like, yeah, he avoided the cameras, but he just ignored them. I fully believe that's what happened. Also, that would explain why he was telling them to talk up. I feel like I'm missing something there. Not just the fact that I don't recognize this symbol, but it looks very much a mix of both Christianity, because you see the cross there, a halo, and kind of resembles a lot of the Egyptian, I want to say Ankh, but that's a completely different symbol. Or I think it is. I could be mistaken.
Whilst often on the lookout for break-ins, they never expect their own quarters broken into. The hubris of the Watchmen to think
oh yeah, they definitely know it's him. They definitely know it's him.
The Officer Ernesto trick.
Officer Ernesto?
So, it's just the two of us otherwise. Right now, it's 14:34
they're doing the
PM.
24-hour clock? Oh.
If you look at the watch, could you confirm?
2:34 p.m.
Oh, yeah. 14:34. It is indeed the number on your timepiece.
It's not that number, is it?
All right, yep, very good. So, today is the 1st of December 2006 at Norfolk Constabulary in Wells next to the sea. Can you agree with all that?
Oh, yes, happily confirmed.
It's not that, is it, either?
I love Wales next to the sea. I might go ride the miniature steam train later while I'm here. It happens to be open this time of year.
Oh, that right?
A big adventure on the world's smallest public railway.
Wait, it's actually a public railway?
How could I pass it up?
Oh yeah, true. Rode on it with the kids last summer. They adored it. It passes through some drop-dead gorgeous vistas. You really get to see Norfolk from another angle, you know?
Oh, for sure. Did you know there's a
ghost platform? And we see why he did it. Also, oh, the drop-dead gorgeous. Yeah, it makes sense. Also, because everything else they said about this entire landscape has been true so far, and a lot of places are real. I know I made a joke about it earlier. Also, a little terrified that some of the names are real, but let me know this is real because, while I'm not going to travel abroad, 1, because COVID, 2, because I poor. If there's ever a time that changes, I would love to go do that because just train rides and scenic vistas sound pretty cool. I would like to see that. I would like to know it's real, please. Thank you.
Ghost platform along the track? Extremely frightening.
Oh, the abandoned one.
And he knows what that is.
There's also that Iron Fort camp. That one's in Warham, right?
Iron Fort?
Actually, that camp's pretty close to where you were today, isn't it?
Oh, yes, the camp is quite close to my dear friend's home. We don't go there much. It's quite the dreary spot. Smells of death. The Iron Age fort, that is.
Death?
Iron Fort? Oh, Iron Age.
Was found there a few years ago. Some poor sod who had been missing since the 90s. Looked like he'd been lying there for a while and no one picked up on it.
Goodness. Was it any one of you who found it?
No, it was my friend's neighbor, Caracas. He found it while he was doing his daily routine of digging ditches into...
Oh, they got the dung! Sorry, they brought back another character. Caracas, in the TTS phase of the previous project that Alpha Booster was doing, was one of the fantasy battle characters they made up when the Emperor played a role-playing game in Warhammer Fantasy Battle. And Krakus was just going around as a crazy dung dealer, and he ended up dying because he threw dung at a ogre chief that was actually one of the custodians, and it didn't do shit because it was literally just throwing dung at someone. Granted, he threw dung at someone with an enhanced sense of smell, so it probably was actually quite unpleasant. It's just, I love that they brought him back!
Places that do not need ditches!
That's very interesting.
Yeah. That's the best way to put that.
Perhaps we should get on with the actual interview. What do you say?
Oh, sorry. Absolutely. I wouldn't want to waste any more of your time than necessary.
He's going to be there hours, isn't he?
It's all right. You're all right, Kevin. That's totally fine. I'll just need to go through some more formalities with you before we can begin.
A formal lad. I love it.
Oh, not for long. It's pub time after this.
I love drinking.
No, we don't doubt
it. An activity I do. I don't know if you know this, but the police in these lands are quite unlike what you see in the mainstream stories of the modern age. They seek to build a different rapport, following the peace method of interrogation.
You know what? I'm just going to let this one drop. We're not going to say anything about... Yeah, we're just not going to say anything. We're just going to let this one go.
With this, they primarily wish to disarm their suspect by making them as agreeable and comfortable as they can be, as those embraced in comfort after a stressful situation are far more likely to tell the truth.
Yeah, it actually is true.
I intentionally sink into a casual and comfortable role, exactly where the officer wants me, so they would be more likely to believe I'm being honest.
Especially when you are out of context for them.
This is an advanced deception technique I invented, a technique I refer to as
fucking up.
Lying.
I kind of want him to actually be telling the truth about that and to actually have invented lying. It'd be funny if he actually was the equivalent of Seth, because that would be funny to me. Just for clarification, and I only know this because I've been watching a lot of the Exploring series about the Ouroboros cycle and the Cactus verse. But more importantly, Seth, third son after Cain and Abel, and maybe he invented lying. One brother invented murder. One brother invented being a murder victim. Seth invented lying. I would love if that was the case. I doubt it, but it would also be pretty cool.
So, you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court.
Like your name.
Anything you do
probably
say
already have.
may be given in evidence. Do you understand what I've just said?
Clear as crystal.
Probably didn't listen to a word.
Could you put it in your own words?
But I shouldn't say anything weird.
Well, you've already failed that part.
At that moment, I feared my cover was blown.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they know exactly who you are already. Also, one, getting someone to paraphrase what they said in their own words is actually a really good way to see if they understand it. Also, that's definitely more of a British thing, probably.
I had to fight my way out. I prepared my hidden poison blade.
I mean, the one he keeps in his ass.
I'm just kidding.
What a relief.
All right, so that's your right to silence. Just need to have that put out. So
this guy is too good at his job. He's definitely some kind of monster.
My name is Kevin Wetsworth.
Do you have a middle name?
Nope.
Malcolm.
Like Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes, everyone makes that joke, I can assure you.
When did Malcolm in the Middle come out? Because this is mid to late early 2000s. I think it was when I was in high school. Sorry, I'm just... As soon as I go Malcolm, it's like, Malcolm! It's like Malkador! Ah! I see it now! They're showing it! Yeah, there's the thing! It makes sense! But also... I lived through the 80s. 80s, wow, I wasn't that old. The 2000s. That's when I was in high school. How the hell do I forget if that show was on then or later? I'm actually kind of embarrassed about this.
Not as wild and wacky
also, way to date it. Pretty accurate.
And maybe. I am instead a normal man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to slap a dead horse.
Like that
My
show?
name's Guy, so, well, I understand it when people are jokers about your name.
Oh, that's completely understandable, my guy.
Don't do that.
You sure you aren't as wild and wacky as you are on TV?
Well, maybe a tad, maybe just a little.
All right, well.
Television.
Could I get your birthday as well, Malcolm? Oh, sorry. Kevin?
Oh, that's all right. The worms will get us all one day.
The
It's
what?
October 31st, 1979. My birthday, I mean.
Oh, that's pretty fun. That's All Hallows Eve.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's also National Magic Day.
Seriously?
The day Houdini died.
Oh, wow, didn't know that.
Why did he kill Houdini
So,
on his birthday?
a few more
'Cause I'm pretty sure
questions.
he's killed a Houdini.
First off, what's your
Maybe
address?
there's more than one. People haven't been very
You can go
clarified on
through
that.
it all.
The officer went through a few more questions, nothing noteworthy, until eventually the actual interview began.
Yeah, no, there's no way in hell the officer doesn't know he's lying about everything. Mostly because you gave Kevin's name, and you gave his date of birth, and you gave where you probably live, which is the house they took you from. And even if you say, I'm kind of a transient right now, I'm just staying with this family acquaintance, because technically they're not married yet, so it would be more of acquaintance, or I guess boyfriend. But more importantly, just all of that, it's not hard to say, hey, City Hall, we got the record here. He don't live here. He lives over there. This is a different person. Yeah. Also, he's behind on his rent, so the British equivalent of the IRS is going to be after him. Honestly, that's probably as scary as the vampires. Although I would not be surprised if the vampires run that as well.
So,
Okay, it's a bunch of bloodsuckers.
what happened this morning in your record?
Oh, they just ran into a random minefield we
Oh,
had
do you want me
planted.
to go through the entire morning?
Anything you think might be relevant.
Vampire.
All right. So I've been up all night. Haven't caught any sleep yet. You might call me something of a night owl. Yes. I was meeting up with some old friends. We haven't met in a good while. Years and years as I've been out traveling. So I was driven to the house
They
a few
do
days
look old
prior.
enough
We
that
had
you
a
would
good
think friends
time,
rather than
and,
son.
Well,
Got drunk and jumped out a window?
It's all right.
Oh, did they
Take
have
your
this
time.
access to guns in Britain to the same extent?
this is where it all
In
begins.
America, that wouldn't be questionable at
Already
all,
several
but
missing persons reports in and around the area of the tunnel entrance, since that was where I first found them. And since Sabbat members are usually reported as missing people themselves, I wanted to use this to my advantage.
that doesn't work because Kevin didn't ever met him or make himself go missing because he kept up his human persona. And honestly did a really good job of it.
However, I already know the tunnels are a particular target of Camarilla interest, and also that the Anarchs have declared the area under their domain.
Yeah.
Assuming the police are compromised, any mention of the tunnels will lead to suspicion. But I might be able to use it to throw off the scent.
He's being so smart about this, but he already gave it away so early on that it
It was
doesn't
early in the
matter.
morning a few days ago. We took a fun little nightly road trip to an area just between Walsingham, Binham, and Hindringham, right along Wells Road. We went there because...
I'm sorry. No, I'm not even. No, I've learned. These are probably all real places and pronounced correctly, and I'm just going to roll with this one. Sure.
Walsingham, Binham, and Hindringham.
British,
Right
dear
along
God.
Wells Road. We went there because, well, I'm kind of big into cold cases, and I know there's been some missing persons reports in that particular area, so we just kind of went there. I know it's irresponsible,
It's all right.
but it was just such an enticing prospect.
All
I was going to say it's kind of odd that he be into cold cases as an excuse, but then again, podcasts probably would have started coming out around this time for a lot of cold case junkies and murder mystery junkies, and this is around the time where I think True TV really blew up. But I could be wrong; it could have been earlier. I mean, roughly about True TV, maybe not podcasts. This is around the time where I think they kind of kicked off. Maybe not if existing, but more just as a thing that were massively popular. Maybe not massively yet, but just starting. How old are some of the true crime podcasts? I know in the teens it would have been a higher, but early or mid 2000s? God damn it. Seriously, I lived through this time phase. How is it so hard for me to remember what actually happened in it? This is actually kind of embarrassing.
Right. I absolutely understand. You're just out for some excitement.
Yeah.
You're not the only ones, let me tell you.
But
Well, I'll be honest, it does get worse.
what did he mean by only ones? Who else did he catch?
Yes?
Well, I try to entice the officer into presenting me with a leading question. If he is a Camarilla agent, he will know about the tunnel situation to some degree. What degree, I'm not sure.
Considering Kit knew about it, but not about the Camarilla part, more just urban legend, it might not actually be accurate.
Take your time. I can understand if it's hard to talk about.
Oh God, he's doing this.
Take your time.
You got one more take your time and then he tries to murder you. Yeah.
Look, I'm not sure how you're feeling.
Sober. That's why he doesn't like it.
If you feel self-conscious about it, that's fine. We all make mistakes.
Dude, just admit to the fact you got...
Yes.
Oh, biting the line.
It was well, yeah, quite the gaffe on our part, I'd say. Come now, just a little more.
He's not biting.
It was all related to the missing persons report, I take it.
Which isn't a bite about the cave.
Almost. I think so.
You think so? Did you
Do drugs?
find anyone?
Just
or...
mention the DMT, dude.
Found anyone? What does he mean? Does he imply that he thinks the missing people might just be lost? Or is he implying we might have found someone else there? He thinks the former. I might be safe. If not, how will he respond?
Now that's an actually interesting way to look at it. If he's looking at it as, did you find the missing people because we think they're dead, or did you expect him to find something else? The first one is kind of where I think it's going. The second one, though, I hope it's going that way because it implies that there might be a third actor between just the vampires and just the hunters in this instance, which we kind of already know is the case because, well, whatever the hell Kitten is. Too many instances where he suddenly had cat features.
We did.
And that was the same people who you invited home a few days ago.
He mentioned them?
Oh, what the fuck? What kind of question is that? That we invited home? That is far too specific to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized my sons, my son-in-law, my grandson, they were all interviewed before me.
Oh, I thought it was just the information he gave is easily clarified to not be true. And now it's more obvious. Oh, dear God. He's fucked. I mean, he is legitimately, unabashedly fucked right now. Because he doesn't know what lies they told, if they told lies. Oh. Yeah, honestly, at this point, he's probably better just to run away. Just take the name, run, get out of there. You have a getaway vehicle. Give some bullshit about how, you'll never catch me further in Scotland, you monsters. Hopefully the cameras actually are off and you just get out of there.
Which, of course, was the intention, but they were fucking up on their testimonies. Cannot believe it. After everything I've taught them, invited home? Why would he say that? Who said that? Ah! Wait.
Probably Marcus.
Of course. Son-in-law.
Really?
It must have been my son-in-law who said that.
Really? You're going to him right away?
His anti-cop training was never concluded. He never got past the Grand Theft Police Car seminar. Of course. What? He wanted to present this as having been a good-natured affair on our part. The fool. I must be incredibly careful.
Oh no, you're just making it worse.
I need to harmonize these different testimonies.
Also, there's the other option. They might have found the bodies in the house that were eaten. Yep. He's making an assumption here. Well, I honestly think it's probably the right one. The other option is this is not actually the case. They know there's other bodies. They know they brought their people home. And the alternative is we have someone who we think is literally a serial killer who goes around kidnapping people, and you're the reason there's disappearances. Which honestly would make it even more hilarious and also terrifying because when that shit happens too, it is technically not wrong because they did go beat these guys up, kidnap them, and force them to kill each other. So he's not entirely wrong by coming to a completely wrong conclusion. How the hell? I kind of love this. The double talk, though, the questioning, the motives, getting to see his thought process, how it's completely accurate but based on incomplete information. It's brilliant, but it's missing the building blocks to get to the right conclusion. You know, if he's saying this right now, you know it's wrong. I love this.
Yes, we took pity on them.
Pity, you say?
Of course. I'm sorry, the missing people. Shall I say, I recognize some of them. Or at least one of them from the missing persons posters.
Noted. Just a moment before we continue.
Do you have their name?
I braced myself for combat, for the SWAT teams to come pouring in, for fists and bullets to fly. But instead, I was faced with a more powerful and evil foe.
Here.
What?
Paperwork.
This is an index of many missing persons in the local area. Could you flip through? Tell us if you recognize any of these people.
Oh, God. Okay, so I'm not sure how much of this you guys can hear, but it is freaking pouring outside. So I'm just going to cut this one here because we've gone long enough without me losing power that I'm not entirely sure if I go for another 5 seconds, it won't lose power. I fully expect whatever I'm saying right now, it'll just cut to black right now and I'll just lose the video. So rather than that, we're just going to end this one here, call it a night. And also just take a quick second to say, I love this. I love this so freaking much. The writing on this is so goddamn crisp and clean and thought out. And what we're looking at is two people lying to each other, both with incomplete information. Because I don't think for a second this cop is, one, a cop, two, or I mean, he might be a cop. He's definitely not just a cop. He's working for someone, whether it's a Camarilla or not, or someone else. I don't know. But there's definitely something he knows that we don't. And I'm absolutely certain on the other side, Big D is wrong. He's incredibly sharp right now. He's making mental, intuitive leaps that make sense based on what's being given away by the officer. But he's forgotten two things. One, the officer has information that he doesn't. And two, the officer could also lie. That's the thing. I'm not sure if you're actually allowed to do that in Britain, but in America, yeah, no, officers can completely lie the fuck out of their mind and tell you anything. It's completely legal. And he completely forgot that. He thinks the officer's telling the truth. And he could be not. I don't know. But he's getting a lot of information out of this. And it's brilliant just seeing the back and forth between them. And you can tell it's much more interrogative than conversational right now. And all of it is due to how much he's reading into it with incomplete information. I love this because it shows that one, Big D's mind is actually very sharp. And two, he's making snap decisions based on experience, but without enough information to maybe justify it, which honestly, from what I've been told, is actually a lot of how hunters act in general. So it actually is perfectly in character as far as I know. But goddamn, I love this. It's just such sharp, good writing. If anyone else did this, if anyone who I didn't trust on a literary level tried this, I would think it's just banal wasting of time, that they're just yammering about each other and just talking about minimal things before moving on to the next part. But because I have faith in the fact that Speaker D and Alphabusa are just some really goddamn competent writers, that what they say has meaning and they're not just throwing in empty words to fill time, I fully believe that there's more than we're seeing on the surface. And that's what makes this so damn good. They've earned enough for me to suspend disbelief and try to poke holes in what we've been told and what is true and what is not true. And what people think is true and is definitely not true, or what is true and they haven't realized yet. It's a puzzle. It's a literal puzzle being given to us. And I know we might get the ending of it and get to that puzzle's ending and we may be able to see it, but just working through it, it's like, it's a murder mystery, but without the murder. Well, technically the murder already happened. We already know who did that because it was them. Is it wrong that I'm enjoying this audio log more than all the other audio logs? I mean, honestly, they were pretty good too, but more than all of them, but as much as the third episode, because even though that was more action-packed, this one is more of a battle. Just, goddamn. To be fair, I'm one of the guys who liked 13 Angry Men, the play, and the movie, so yeah, this shit's my kind of thing. All the same, if you guys haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up, and next time we'll see how much I get into the episode, because I would love to finish this right now, but I'm honestly stretching and just talking this much right now. I am probably going to lose power in the next 10 minutes. It is kind of fucking terrifying out there. I'm not even sure if it's coming up on the mic or not. Hopefully it's not, because fuck, man. I'm waiting for the power to drop any second now. Yeah, so all the same. Oh, that Peal of Thunder is really going for a while. Yeah, I'm going to cut this one here. Shit. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next one. Unless my house blows down, because, dear God, it sounds bad out there. I'm just going to step away from the window. Thanks. See you guys later. Adios. Bye.